Begin with some of the numbers that we will be looking at tonight, and for that I hand you over to Eric Njoka.
Very well, Linda Ogutu. And yes, we'll be looking at the numbers and the business agenda tonight, and we are asking you, first we'll start with the question, what happens, here's a question for you, what happens if none of the aspiring presidential candidates attain the electoral threshold required to win the presidential race in the first ballot? Well, you know the correct answer. It will be a runoff. It's inevitable. And this is what it would mean and what it would cost the country's taxpayers. First, the logistical aspect in case of a runoff, all the 33,000 polling stations would demand a complete overhaul, meaning redeployment of polling staff, redeployment of security staff, and transportation of ballot materials will all be increased. And again, the polling stations and the ballot boxes would be distributed, meaning the cost of transporting the boxes is also a requirement. Moving on to the next board here is the financial implication in case of a runoff. This would have a direct implication. The Electoral Commission has set aside 2.5 billion shillings for a possible 2013 presidential runoff. Part of the plan in their budget is to pay the temporary staff who will be redeployed to their respective 33,000 polling stations, the allowances to the security agencies at the polling centers, and since new ballot papers will be required, the money will also account for the printing costs. Like you see, the payment of temporary staff, extra allowances for security agents, and printing ballot papers will be a requirement. Moving on to the third board, and it's actually indicated that we may be having an extra 6 billion shillings to comply with that, and this will include cutting down or slowing down investments in the country as the anxiety grows over the election process. The contenders in the runoff will be required to actually start new campaigns, and yes, the campaigns are funding within 1 month. This will account for that. The runoff will definitely cow the investors both internally and internationally, and some of the government projects planned for the year 2013 may have to be delayed. All this will put Kenya virtually at a standstill if at all a runoff becomes a reality. And this is what we are saying: slow down investments, increasing campaign funding, general anxiety ahead of the runoff if at all we'll have a runoff, and also slow down takeoff of government projects. We surely know what the government is planning to do with the money that has been allocated for these respective projects. But if this doesn't work, well, the planning again will be to the government to at least know what will be planned ahead of the runoff. But now this is what the numbers are saying.